This image shows four men sitting on top of some black trash bags and a large tarp. Their hands are bound and a camera is pointing in their direction. They don't know it yet, but they're about to take part in history, but for all the wrong reasons. In just a few moments, the man standing behind the video camera will record himself executing one of the men in what is largely considered to be the first cartel video ever posted to the internet. In the 2000s, shock sites like LiveLeak became breeding grounds for disturbing content. Unlike the YouTube we know and love today, these websites had little to no guidelines regarding the type of content that was posted. LiveLeak in particular aimed to be something similar to a news site, but as time went on, it became more of a hub for users to post shocking content to share with their friends. And in 2014, a LiveLeak user posted a video that perhaps signaled the beginning of the end for the website.
You know, Mom, I've been praying so hard just that you would know that I was okay. I've been praying for that. I've been praying for that. You know, I hope that she heard in my voice that I was being truthful and that I was physically, I was strong enough to keep going.
James Foley was a freelance photojournalist who reported on the Syrian civil war. But on August 19th of 2014, a video titled "A Message to America" was released. In the video, James is wearing a bright orange jumpsuit. His head has been shaved. Accompanying him is a man wearing a black mask and outfit. He brandishes a knife to the camera before using it to behead James. The act itself only took about 10 seconds to complete. This 4.5-minute video ends with the executioner threatening to kill another journalist should the United States continue to send over airstrikes. And while the story and images from the execution video would spread throughout the news, the full video of James's final moments was circulating on LiveLeak. Shortly after this, LiveLeak made the decision to ban all Islamic execution videos from their site. But for those who saw the video, the damage had already been done. The site would shut down in 2021, and though its contributions to the world of cartel execution videos was short-lived, their story doesn't end here. Unfortunately, for people growing up in the 2000s and 2010s, the likelihood that you've stumbled upon content like this is a lot higher than it should be. But why do videos like this exist in the first place? And while the answer might be kind of obvious now, there's actually quite a number of different motivations behind people wanting to create content like this. A lot of times it's for the purpose of intimidation. If a group wants to incite, fear or terror into a rival group, they will record a video in order to show just how brutal they can actually be. In the case of James Foley, it was about sending a message. The United States president was shooting bombs over in their country, and they wanted it to stop. But their solution was to kill an American. And as I was researching the topic, I sort of, started asking myself the question, what was the first cartel execution video ever made? In the city of Laredo, Texas, a young man named Edgar Valdez is living the life of a popular high school student. Specifically, he excels at football, his coaches nicknaming him La Barbie after his blonde hair and blue eyes. Many consider Edgar to be a good kid with a bright future, but it wouldn't take long for all of that to change. At just 19 years old, Edgar was charged with negligent homicide after running over someone with his truck. Despite this, he would not be indicted. Edgar's parents, hoping to steer their son in a better direction, offered to finance his college tuition completely. Edgar would turn away this offer, instead choosing to sell drugs on the street. He would eventually move to Mexico and begin his career as one of the most infamous drug lords ever known. And Edgar is considered to be responsible for posting the first cartel video to the internet.
For some along the Rio Grande, Edgar Valdez is an American success story. A wealthy businessman from Laredo, Texas, who's hit the big time. YouTube videos pay tribute to him, surrounded by millions of dollars, fancy cars, beautiful women, and living the good life in Mexico. Thanks to his good looks, his high school football coach nicknamed him La Barbie.
At the height of his career, it's estimated that Edgar was moving around at least $130 million worth of drugs each year. Most of the time, he had his men load the product on flatbed trailers before moving it across the Mexican border. Given the sheer amount of money he was moving around, it made him the prime target for rival cartel groups. One of these groups is known as Los Zetas.
These men are suspected of killing dozens of people in the Gulf Coast state of Veracruz.
After being captured, they told us of another 3 safe houses where 32 bodies were found.
Along with the new generation suspects, on Friday the Navy showed off a dozen members of the Zetas gang, including the group's alleged leader of its Veracruz branch.
The story goes that someone on Edgar's payroll had hired 4 hitmen from Los Zetas to assassinate Edgar. When Edgar got word of this, he dispatched 4 of his own men to ambush the 4. They were successful, and once captured, Edgar's men brought the 4 to an isolated house surrounded by an electric fence. The 4 were then brought to a bedroom upstairs and tied up. It's after this point where Edgar entered the room with a video camera and a pistol and began interrogating the men, asking them what they were doing and why they wanted to kill him. Though the men were talkative, it didn't stop Edgar from raising the pistol and ending the life of one of the men sitting against the tarp. The entire event was recorded and has since circulated on the internet as a message. Don't try and come for Edgar. If you do, you will suffer the same fate. This video, much like the James Foley video, circulated around on LiveLeak, a site that now no longer exists. Because of this, it's possible that the first ever Cartel video ever recorded could now be considered a piece of lost media. But since its disappearance on LiveLeak, it has been found, and it is just as gruesome as you would imagine. When it comes to the cartel, my first place to check is the narco footage subreddit, as they more often than not have information, if not the entire video. Someone had posted the video there, but the mods deleted it. I went to check what the deleted post said, but the video didn't work. Wayback was no help, because even though I can confirm its existence, I couldn't find it there either. The only place that seems to actually have it is Documenting Reality. When we talk about shock sites, the name Documenting Reality is rarely brought up in the conversation. When visiting the site, it reads, "This site does not condone violence. As the name suggests, we simply document the reality of the world in which we live in." A quick visit to the front page of the site will show you a number of different headlines, reading things like real death pictures, along with the number of people who are viewing the page at the current moment. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you, but most of the stuff on these pages is very, very messed up. And among them lies the infamous La Barbie Cartel video, uncensored and in its full disturbing glory. So it's not exactly lost after all. This video would go on to popularize the idea of cartels recording their victims' final moments. It's gone on to inspire a number of different cartel groups, and its legacy is felt even today in 2025. When visiting forums discussing disturbing footage, you might see the word Funky Town. Though confusing at first, the phrase is in reference to the song of the same name by Lips Inc. Released in 1979, most people associate the song with movies like Shrek and shows like Malcolm in the Middle. But for others, the song brings with it memories of something much darker. This song, Funky Town, can be heard playing in the background of what many consider to be the most disturbing cartel video ever posted to the internet. The Funky Town video began circulating in the 2010s. It was initially uploaded to a website known as Chaotic, a shock site that is still up and running today. The video, unlike some of the others talked about so far, features some of the most grotesque torture imaginable. It's hard to talk about exactly what happens in the video, but unlike the swift executions talked about so far, this is not the case here. The man in this video is kept alive with a medical bag containing a stimulant that prevents him from passing out during the torture. Meanwhile, the group of men surrounding him continue to do horrible things to him, the video eventually ending. Despite the Funky Town song only lasting a mere 20 seconds in the footage, the song has become synonymous with those who have seen the disturbing video. Also included are tracks like Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses, More Than a Woman by the Bee Gees, and Michael Jackson's Beat It. This senseless act of violence makes you question everything. What kind of people would perpetrate such a vile act? And what did the victim do to deserve such a cruel punishment? Who is the poor man being tortured in the video? On September 26, 2014, 43 students from a college in Ayatanapa were riding on a bus when something mysterious happened. The bus was stopped by local police and gunmen who ordered the students to exit the bus. From here, the 43 students were taken and never seen again. Family, friends, and members of the Mexican community would protest the strange event following its circulation. News anchors would express that the incident was a result of corrupt police officers that handed the students over to a criminal gang. This gang allegedly executed the students and disposed of their bodies in a nearby trash dump. Investigators working on the case found that the federal police and higher-level officials gave out little information, leading people to believe that the local crime was a part of a larger picture, a state-sponsored cover-up. Protesters, specifically the parents of the 43, refused to believe that all of the students were killed. And while it's a mystery as to the outcome of most of the students, there is one popular theory regarding this event and the aforementioned Funky Town video. The theory, popularized through online forums, states that the unknown individual in the Funky Town video is actually one of the missing students from Ayatanapa. The timeline states that the 43 went missing in late 2014. The first known upload of the Funky Town video was posted in September of 2016 on Chaotic. This 2-year difference seems to be a little bit of a stretch, but is not entirely improbable. If this is the case, wouldn't someone be able to identify one of the missing 43 with the identity of the man in the Funky Town video? This is where you might think the theory gets a little shaky, but the person in the video does not have skin on their face, making it difficult to determine their exact identity. There's a couple moments throughout Funky Town's runtime where the men recording the video make comments like, "You're on the wrong side," when speaking to the tortured man. This could indicate that the man being tortured is actually a part of a rival group and is being used as an example. Ultimately, if it was one of the students, comments like this wouldn't necessarily fit the narrative. Following this event, at least 22 police officers were arrested for their involvement in the disappearance of the 43 students. Unfortunately, the exact details regarding this case and why it happened remains a mystery. The group scene in Funky Town and the victim being tortured is still up for debate. Ultimately, we don't know what happened, and we will probably never find out. Its story lives on through the people curious enough to fall down its deep and unforgiving rabbit hole, and many people consider it to be the most disturbing Cartel video ever posted to the internet.